I would like to welcome everybody to the Planning and Zoning Commission meeting for DeKalb, Illinois, this November 16th at 6 p.m. In accordance with all the state rules and regulations according to Governor Pritzker, we have spaced ourselves distance, and we're not being broadcast because of our location at the moment, but we are being recorded, so catch us on the flip side. I will ask for a roll call.
Becker. Here. McMahon. O'Flaherty.
Here.
Klein.
Here.
Doe. Wright.
Here.
Chair Maxwell.
Here.
You have a quorum.
Thank you. I'll go to the agenda for the evening. I'll ask for an approval of the agenda.
I move approval.
Motion by Klein,
I second.
seconded by O'Flaherty. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
In favor, or all opposed, same sign. Motion so passes. Reviewing the last minutes of the last meeting, stated, and I'm sorry,
November 2nd. Yeah, right.
yeah, November 2nd. Motion to approve the minutes.
Before you move to approve this, there are 2 points of correction need to be made. In them, you referred to Chairman Maxwell as having made a couple of points when he was not here at that meeting. Vice Chair Doe was the one who actually did it. Other than that, I'd move to approve the minutes.
Okay, motion to approve with the corrections from Becker.
Sorry.
First, second.
Jerry second. I can't hear through the mask. I don't know what he said.
Jerry seconded it.
Okay, seconded by Jerry. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. So passed. What do we have on the agenda for this evening? At the moment, we have the public participation portion. Anyone wishing to address the group or the council is with anything that's not on the record? Step forward. No. Okay. We went to the public hearing, and I'm sorry, I'm scrolling up there.
It's right on the agenda. You can read off the paper copy. Yep, second page. It's on the back.
Petition by the City of DeKalb for text amendments, Chapter 23, Unified Development Ordinance of the Municipal Code to amend LC, like Commercial District, to add truck and trailer rental to the list of special uses, and to amend the GC, General Commercial District, and LI, Light Industrial District, to add trailer and rental to the list of permitted uses.
Yes, so I'll go over the report for that. This is a city-initiated text amendment to the UDO. It's related to the hearing that's after this one regarding the special use permit for the truck and trailer rental for U-Haul on Hillcrest. So what's being proposed here are 3 amendments. The first is to amend the light commercial district, zoning district, by adding a term that's already in the ordinance in the GC district. Automobile, truck, trailer, and recreational vehicle sales and rental, except automobile sales on property greater than 3 acres that derives the majority of the annual sales from new vehicles. So it's kind of long, but that term is already in the UDO. We're just going to put it in the light commercial district, add trailer to it as a special use, and so with the special use and light commercial district, that will give the opportunity for the city to look at these on a case-by-case basis with a public hearing and make sure it meets the standards of the special use that's appropriate for the surrounding area. So that's the first amendment. The second is to kind of add the trailer component of that use that we already have to the general commercial district. So in the GC, it's a permitted use now, that long-term. We combine the truck, the sales and rental together. All we're doing there is just adding the trailer component to that, expanding it so it's clear that the rental trailers too is included in that. Also in the light industrial, automobile, truck, and recreational vehicle sales and renter is a current permitted use. We just want to add trailer to that term. So that kind of cleans up those two districts. So recommend approval. There's specific amendments on Exhibit A, and there's a sample motion, which this can be read, whoever makes that motion. Thanks.
At that point, I'll ask if anybody from the public wishing to address this. If there's no one, I will close the public hearing and open it to the discussion for the members. Any comments?
Pretty straightforward.
Yeah, it seems straightforward, and since it would be a special use, if there's, as each incident would come up, it would come up before our body, so we'd be able to say, town's not, or...
Yeah, I would agree. The only question I had, and I'm sorry, can you define sales? I mean, it's a rental business, so to me that almost implies auto sales.
Yeah, it's in that term that throws sales and rentals, so it doesn't have to be both, but this is the term that's used for our automobile dealers in town that have sales.
Okay, so
They're kind of
could
thrown in
use
with
that-
this too.
They could use their portion of lot for auto sales, though?
No, it would just be whatever special use that we would approve would have to be specific.
So it's only under rental is where you approve
Yeah.
it now if they wanted to go back under sales?
On the next one, the specific language is for this, the rental, not the sales.
Okay.
Determine the UDO is, it groups them together.
Okay,
So,
maybe it's just a big problematic over there.
so the special use, we can get specific on the language, on what if it's sales, if it's rental.
Sure. Just, I was only concerned about setting precedent, so. Okay, any other comments, questions? With that, I'll ask for a motion to approve.
I can make the motion.
So motion by Mr. Klein.
Based on the submitted petition and testimony presented, I move the Planning and Zoning Commission recommend to the City Council approval of the text amendments to the United Development Ordinance as indicated on Exhibit A of this report.
So moved by Mr. Klein, seconded.
Second.
Seconded by Mr. Rick. All in favor, say aye.
Roll call. Becker,
Yes?
McMahon, O'Flaherty,
Yes,
Klein,
Yes.
Doe, Wright, Chair Maxwell.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Moving on to the public hearing, petition by Ryan Fleming at 1023.5 West Hillcrest Drive, U-Haul for a special use permit to allow truck and trailer rental storage at 1027 West Hillcrest Drive.
I'll call the petitioner.
I'm sorry, anyone here?
Hey, you guys doing?
Good, how are you?
I'm all right. First, I'd like to thank you guys for having me today. I really appreciate the opportunity to come before you. So I guess I want to thank Mr. Olson for working with me. I am the owner of, this will be the second location I have.
I'm sorry, just as a matter of formality, can you state your name and address for the record?
My personal address and my business address.
The business one's fine.
Business is fine.
Brian Fleming, 1023.5 West Hillcrest, DeKalb, Illinois, 60115.
Thank you, Brian. Continue, I'm sorry.
As you can see, well, to my left, your right, is an example of where the actual trucks would sit. And we've come up with a number that would be limited to and not exceed a certain amount of number in the front of the location and towards, and that's the right. That would be, if you are in the parking lot, it's a restaurant called Sea Captain towards the tailgate side, and then a portion of the spaces will be in the front. So it wouldn't exceed a certain amount of number. And Mr. Olson has been phenomenal with giving up the actual numbers of what we could not do. For the existing trucks, if it ever is to get to that, I have a second location in Sycamore. So I would transport those trucks over to a different location. And that's located at 1430 DeKalb Avenue. So we have already made reservations for it. If we get an influx of trucks, where they will go.
Staff presentation?
Yeah. As Brian mentioned, location shown up there. I'm just going to get up here. Go through a couple slides. So Brian's located in 1023 and a half U-Haul. Operation's been up and going for a few years, so there's trucks out there now, of course. It's like commercial zoning, that type of rental of trailers, that term that we just went over in the text amendment does not exist in LC as permitted or conditional. So I think a few years ago when it did go in, I think it was determined somewhere by the city that it was maybe associated with, there was a discount furniture store in there, and I think they used some trucks for delivery, so I think it a accessory use to the furniture store. But anyway, we want to bring it into compliance. So the things we looked at when we got the petition, talked about it, was first parking and then also visibility. Our police department indicated with this, they wanted to make sure that the visibility to the back of the building, or the front of the building from Hillcrest was, the visibility was good. So there was a suggestion maybe limiting the amount of trucks, the bigger trucks, high-end rental trucks, limit the number throughout the site and also on Hillcrest. So we worked with the applicant and the property owner and identified two areas, the 25 space area in the front and then the 9 space area on the east side of the site. As you can see there, where we would limit the total number of 10 trucks or trailers, and they got to be parked in one of those two areas, so a max of 10. And then also with the visibility issue, we suggested that there be no more than 3 trucks, 10 foot or over, and we took out from the U-Haul site you can see the 10-foot truck there and anything larger. So anything 10 foot or bigger would be restricted to 3 of those either in the 25 space area, you could have 3 there, and you could have 3 in the 9 space area, and the rest would be trailers. So 10 overall and no more than 3 of the larger trucks in either in the 25 space area and the 9 space area. So that will limit a line of trucks perhaps going across there that would limit the visibility. These are from Google Street View, probably from last summer or the summer before, just showing those higher trucks. Again, that block the visibility a little bit with the building. So that's just from a few weeks ago, just showing the numbers there. So just driving out there the last few weeks, on average, I saw 2 to 4 trucks and maybe 1 to 2 trailers out there on average. So never did exceed 10. So the applicant, we worked with them, they've agreed to that limit. So that will accommodate those. We also looked at the parking. So, and there is plenty of parking on the site. We got the square footage from the owner of the commercial space, and also there are some apartments on the second level of the building. So we got those apartment numbers and the bedroom count, and it ended up there's 96 required parking spaces, and there's 142 spaces on the lot. So there's adequate parking for the storage of these rental vehicles. Also, the reports, the standards for special use are included. It complies with all the regulations of the UDO and the conditions we're going to require that I think they already were out today. I was out there, it was dark, so I wasn't for sure, but requiring that all the handicap spaces have appropriate handicap signs per local and state regulations. I think they're out, but I got to take a look at them. Okay. So that's one of the conditions. It fits in the neighborhood. It's commercial zoning in the area too, and multifamily to the north and part of the area to the south also. So they've been operating for a couple of years. There's been no really harm to the area at this point. So they're complying with the UDO. It's not injuring the surrounding neighborhood. We have the restrictions, the conditions regarding the number of trucks and trailers and where they can be located. Make sure visibility to the building is maintained. So we believe they meet all the conditions. In terms of any public comment, as of the posting of the agenda last Thursday, we did receive any comments. This morning, we did receive an email you have in front of you tonight from Jeremy Aldis. He represents the management for a couple of the fraternities. I actually put a slide quick together just showing them. It's circled in red, the two fraternities there, one on Blackhawk, one on West Hillcrest, indicating objection to this particular special use. I did call Mr. Addis this morning and sent him an email. I explained that he didn't look at the report. I did explain we're recommending conditions regarding the limit of the trucks and trailers on the site and where they can be located. So he did appreciate that. He did want the email forwarded to the commission though, so we do have that. That's the only other public comment we did receive regarding the conditions. So there's recommendation, sample motion to approve with the conditions as explained, with no more than 10 rental trucks or trailers parked on the site at one time, and the restrictions regarding the larger, 10-foot or larger trucks in the two locations shown here, and then the handicap signs be placed on the site within 30 days after approval by the city council. And it looks like they're up already, so but we'll go and check them out. And that's the report, so I'll take any questions.
Okay, with that,
Mr. Fleming?
I'll close the public hearing and open it up to questions from the commission.
So it's pretty much just clarifying what's already been going on, clearly delineating parameters of quantity of vehicles, the sizes, and I'm just happy that there's a business that has been staying in that building for a long time, because that's been a building that's had a lot of problems. And so while it may not be, well, I mean, it's trucks, but it also doesn't seem like a bad spot for it. I mean, it's all, that housing around there was created as student housing, so theoretically you're in the neighborhood where a lot of your customers would be. And
out of all the U-Haul dealers in the county, that's the busiest location.
Yeah.
Because we have proper service, they have a smaller lot, they've had issues because they can't store trucks. They have
It's
tool-time
a real tight lot there.
Tool-time rentals, and then you have another one, Crazy Customs. But as far as the base of the tail, that's good. And thank God I have a second location so I can literally take the trucks and transport them from the tail to Sycamore. Other ones, they can't do that.
So, may I say, during high volume timelines, like when students are moving in or moving about, things like that, we might be seeing an influx of 15 or 20 trucks coming in for delivery then.
With COVID, not really, because we can maintain that.
Okay.
So what happened is, like, our hours are from 9 to 5, Monday through Saturday. So when we go in, I know what's coming in, and I know what's going out. So if I know that I'm receiving 15 trucks in one day, then I'm going to shift my employees to say, hey, when these trucks get dropped off, check me in, we're moving Sycamore. Or 15 may come in, but 15 may go off that same day. So you all is real good about that.
Was there any mention as to whether you're going to have a fence around it? If you did, I didn't hear it. Is there going to be any kind of fence around the property?
No, we didn't think that was needed, it's not required.
Oh, and there's other businesses.
Yeah, there needs to be access for the other businesses, and I don't know what type of fence that would be. Aesthetically, it probably wouldn't look the best, but there was no need for a fence we saw. This is a shared parking area with all the tenants, so we didn't see a need for a fence, and there's none shown or requested or required.
Yeah, I've driven around that place, dating myself, probably since it was the red line, and I don't think there's ever been an issue with parking there, so the owner of the building doesn't have any issues with it, I certainly don't. It's never been jam-packed.
Yeah, it's just like in and out. It's about 57, 8 businesses there.
Yeah.
You have Rockies, you have Metro, you have us, you have the Mexican restaurant, beauty supply store, you have CCAP.
I did have a question. Are you going to designate those spots for strictly truck rentals, or will they be assigned so that nobody else can park there, or?
No, I personally haven't had any issues. When we park, we back them up so customers can plow. I haven't put reserve for you all, because typically no one parks back there. They just don't, you know, so we park them out the way, so that way when the customer does come in, they can pull right out, or back like that.
If that comes up an issue where the owner, you know, if the 9 spaces, a few cars in there and they need the room, the owner can maybe put some signage up, perhaps reserving that if it becomes an issue, but.
Yeah, my only concern was, again, with like the box trucks, I mean, I do understand the line of sight from the street is kind of important for not only police, but for traffic as well, for the advertisement of the businesses that are in the lot. So, I mean, I would be much more comfortable if the box trucks got set over on the right side and the smaller trucks were up front, you know, and I do understand you've got a ratio, which is fine, which is all well and good. I guess the only thing that I would be concerned about is if you ended up having 5 or 6 box trucks that block the entire sight line of the plaza itself.
Well, we do have a limit of 3, 10 foot or higher. There's only, you can put a max of 3 in the 25 space area and a max of 3 in the 9 space area, so.
Yeah, no, I'm just saying if somebody were to actually use those spaces and you didn't have any place to put them.
Oh, you trying to tell somebody just...
Other customers.
Yes, and God forbid, I'm not saying anybody would do this, but if someone were supposedly running over to Burritoville.
Yeah, they couldn't, and they couldn't.
Yeah.
I don't think I've seen.
I mean, I guess it's hard at 25 spaces is a moot point.
Yeah, I haven't even,
Yeah,
I haven't even.
yeah, that run.
Yeah, and typically people at this point, because, I mean, I've been in the job since '97, and I've been a business owner since 2008, most people know what that area is. Like, they don't even park over there.
Okay.
Yeah, so I personally haven't had any issue with it.
Okay. I think it'd be fine. Okay, any other questions? With that, I'll ask for a motion to approve.
I'll move. Based on the submitted petition, testimony presented, and findings of fact, I move that Planning and Zoning Commission forward its finding of fact and recommend to the City Council approval of a special use permit for a truck and trailer rental at 1011 to 1027 West Hillcrest Drive per the conditions as indicated on Exhibit A of this report.
So motion by Mr. Wright, may I have a second?
I second.
Seconded by O'Flaherty. Roll call, please.
Becker.
Yes.
McMahon. O'Flaherty.
Yes.
Klein.
Yes.
Doe. Wright.
Yes.
Chair Maxwell.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Okay.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Brian.
Thank you. God bless you guys.
Continued success.
Thank you. Pray for that.
Thank you very much.
No problem.
Any notes from, for future reference from the,
Yeah, just a couple quick things. Next meeting, December 7th, we'll be back at the library. We'll be back in this room probably next year around this time too, a couple times, so with conflicts at the library. The last council meeting, November 9th, they did approve the special use for the CJ's Gaming that the commission had recommended for approval. They did approve that in first and second reading. A couple development issues, Raising Cane's open to the public, will open to the public tomorrow. They had a soft opening today for kind of a VIP day, I believe it was. A couple demolitions, former DeKalb Clinic at 217 Franklin. The Safe Passage actually owns that now. They've applied for demo permit, and that work should be starting probably this week. It's already fenced.
Wow.
And
Is
they'll
it
be demoing that, and Safe Passage will be coming forward in the near future with a rezoning petition, proposing a new building and rezoning that to accommodate their uses there, relocating from the current location just to the east of there.
is that the entire length of the block, that whole, well, I guess there was a parking lot at the end, but the old DeKalb Clinic is?
Yeah. From second to third.
Yeah.
The whole site there. Yep.
Wow.
Also, the former Travel Inn at West Lincoln Highway, they've applied for demo permit. They still have some work to do to get the approvals from the EPA and utility connections, so that will be demoed within, it's hard to say, but weeks or over the winter here sometime, so it's good news too. So. No development proposed there yet. I think they were just getting some citations in from the city, and decided it would be best to, for marketing, to have it demolished and go from there, but nothing proposed. at
Who
this time.
owns that? Who owns that?
There's a Mr. Patel, I can't remember his first name, but yeah, it's been the owner of the same one, I think, for a little while.
Yeah, I think the business he owns is Sri Brahmin Court.
So that's all. Thanks, Rick.
Okay, quick question, just for my notification. Does the city now own where Black Rock Cinema was? I mean, have we taken
Yes.
ownership of them? Okay.
Through a court. Whatever, we do have possession of that now.
Okay. And has there been any discussion about what potentially could go there?
Not anything official at this time. In that area too, 912 Edgebrook, which the city owns, would be, they went out for bid for demo, and it's going to be paid for the most part from CDBG funds, and that demo hopefully they have some remediation, I think, or some asbestos in there has to be dealt with over the next few weeks and months. That will be demo. That's good news.
Okay, hopefully that'll go back on the auction block soon. Okay, any other comments or questions from anyone? All right, with that, I'll ask for a motion to adjourn.
I'll move.
So moved by Mr. Wright.
Second.
Seconded by Mr. Becker. All in favor, say aye.
All right.
All those same sign. And with that, I bid you adieu.